This is macOS Ken.
iPhone keeps crushing it in China. Illinois IDs hit Apple Wallet. And how to see an unseen Steve Jobs interview. It is Wednesday, the 19th of November, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by NordLayer. Secure your network, block threats to your business, and get 28% off NordLayer yearly plans today with coupon code macOSKen-28 at nordlayer.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. 1 in 4 smartphones sold in China last month was an iPhone. That is the word from Counterpoint Research. The market tracker posted a post Tuesday that had smartphone sales in China up 8% in October versus the same month a year earlier. That was driven by growth for iPhone, sales of which were up 37% versus October of 2024. According to the firm, all 3 iPhone 17 models, Plain, Pro, and Pro Max, saw mid to high double-digit growth rates in October compared to the iPhone 16 series. One Counterpoint analyst was quoted as saying, "The iPhone 17 series continues to deliver for Apple, with the base and Pro models growing fastest. Share of the new iPhone models is extremely high at over 80% of unit sales, so we are likely to see growth amplified as rising average selling prices push the top line higher." Things look good for Apple for this month as well, though there's one possible detractor on the horizon. While Counterpoint sees iPhone momentum continuing, there's risk ahead in the form of the much-expected Huawei Mate 80 series, which is launching next week. Still, Counterpoint says there is a lot of momentum behind Apple at this point. They're looking for the Cupertino company to hit its best ever December quarter, according to the release. From hardware in China to services in India we go. Apple Must had Apple growing its AppleCare Plus options on Tuesday. According to the report, the company has added new flexible monthly and annual AppleCare Plus subscription choices, as well as the AppleCare Plus with theft and loss for iPhone. You know, they should probably call that theft and loss protection. I mean, I can get my iPhone lost or stolen without having to pay anything. As it does elsewhere, Apple Must says the theft and loss thing adds coverage for up to 2 incidents of theft or loss every year. It also offers all the existing AppleCare Plus benefits, such as battery replacement, 24/7 priority support, and unlimited repairs for accidental damage using genuine Apple parts. From covering what you've paid for in India to new ways to pay for stuff in Europe. Mac Rumors says the buy now, pay later outfit Klarna is in tighter with Apple Pay. Already available in Canada, the UK, and the US, the report says Klarna is now available as a buy now, pay later option when using Apple Pay in Denmark, Spain, and Sweden, with France to follow in the coming weeks. When and where available, Klarna lets users pay for Apple Pay purchases in monthly installments. To see whether it's available, Mac Rumor says iPhone and iPad users can select other cards and pay later options when checking out with Apple Pay. That's said to be available for payments online, in applications, and in physical stores since the iOS 26 launch back in September. As it often does, Public Beta Tuesday followed Developer Beta Monday out of Cupertino. Mac Rumors says Apple yesterday launched the 3rd public betas of blankOS 26.2, including iOS, iPadOS, macOS, watchOS, and tvOS. The public releases of those should be out in about a month or less. If that's not a wait you want, though, info on the Cupertino company's public testing program is available at beta.apple.com. There was one other beta out yesterday. Another piece from Mac Rumors says Apple seeded new beta firmware for AirPods Pro 3. Seeded for developers only. No official word on what it does or addresses. Just know, Apple is always working to get in your head. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, NordLayer, a toggle-ready network security platform built for today's business. How much do you pay your employees? Would you pay another $8 a month to protect them and your business? You can do that with NordLayer. It folds in VPN, access control, and threat protection in one easy-to-use platform, and it all starts at $8 per user per month. A security platform for all your platforms, including Windows, macOS, iOS, Android, and Linux. NordLayer brings tools to keep ransomware, phishing, and malware attacks away from your workforce, as well as secure remote access for your IT crew. All of that with no new hardware and no complex setup. Just quick deployment and step-by-step onboarding, all starting at $8 per user per month. But you can have it for less. Get their exclusive Black Friday offer, 28% off NordLayer yearly plans with coupon code MacOSKen-28 at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. This offer is only good until the 10th of December, so don't wait. Try it risk-free with their 14-day money-back guarantee. Keep your workers working safely and guard against outside threats with NordLayer. Get 28% off yearly plans with coupon code MacOSKen-28 at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. That's coupon code MacOSKen-28 at nordlayer.com/MacOSKen. The land of Lincoln joins Tomorrowland. 9 to 5 Mac says the great state of Illinois is letting users drop driver's licenses and state-issued IDs into Apple Wallet starting today. The state explained steps for adding licenses or IDs to Apple Wallet. In Illinois, the state says the resident will be asked to use their iPhone to scan their physical driver's license or state ID card and take a selfie, which will be securely provided to the issuing state for verification. As an additional security step, residents will also be prompted to complete a series of facial and head movements during the setup process. Once verified by the issuing state, the resident's ID or driver's license will be added to Wallet. The Illinois Secretary of State calls the addition a game changer for Illinois residents. Apple's VP of Apple Pay and Apple Wallet, Jennifer Bailey, says it brings users one step closer towards replacing the physical wallet. But don't even think about doing that yet. Illinois says mobile ID and Apple Wallet is not a replacement for a physical ID, and for now, residents must continue to carry their physical ID. In fairness, though, you don't actually need a wallet for that. Apple has settled a set of claims with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. The agency issued a press release Tuesday that had the Cupertino company making changes to address hazardous waste management and air emissions issues at a Santa Clara, California facility, as well as paying a fine. Answering a public complaint, the EPA inspected the facility in August of 2023 and January of 2024, identifying multiple violations of federal requirements for the management of hazardous waste. In addition to process and equipment changes, the EPA says Apple will pay a penalty of $261,283 to resolve the agency's claims. Speaking of hazardous waste, Apple Podcasts is out with its best/most of 2025 charts. Shockingly, I am not on it. The charts are in the Apple Podcasts app on iPhone. You can also find them in Apple's online newsroom. And finally today, Pixar's Toy Story turns 30 this year, and Steve Jobs has something to say about it. Or did, a year after it came out. Jobs bought a segment of Lucasfilms that later became Pixar in 1986. 9 years later came Toy Story, which was an absolute game-changer in film. Marking that moment, the Steve Jobs archive has posted a never-before-seen interview recorded 29 years ago this weekend. The interview's description says Jobs reveals the long game behind Pixar's seeming overnight success. The description also promises insight into what Jobs took from the Pixar experience when he returned to Apple just a few weeks after this interview. You can catch the interview on the website for the Steve Jobs archive. It is also up now on YouTube. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by NordLayer. Get 28% off NordLayer yearly plans today with coupon code macOSKen-28 at nordlayer.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macOSKen at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macOSKen.com. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
It's still sunny.